Iron Man accounts are fun, but there's a drawback to them in that it's a very limited way of playing the game, so you don't experience the game the way the game is designed to be experienced. I haven't made a main account, air quotes around main, a main account in many, many years. My main is maxed, so I've done a lot. I haven't done a lot of bossing on it though. Regardless, I want to start a new account that's not an Iron Man. I have an Iron Man, but it's kind of it's in the doldrums of not quite maxed, but also not a low level, so things are starting to slow down a bit. I want to start a new account with no restrictions and just seeing how quickly I can get to max. So as of right now, this account is free to play. It's free to play specifically because, there's really not a lot of member stuff I can do right now. I'm getting the starter things, doing some daily challenges, which I guess the new tutorial sort of deal is they load you up with daily challenges, as you can see. And they just basically have you do them. So I'm doing those. I'm going to go mine. Then I'm going to go fish, kill some cows. And because of player-owned farms, they've actually caused the price of things like raw meat to become really expensive. Same with fish. Fish for the dragons is very expensive. So we're going to fish these up, we're going to bank them, we're going to save them for later, so we could sell them on the Grand Exchange. Since we're not an Iron Man, we can trade. So that's different. Now, right here, I am struggling with the interface because Jagex doesn't know how to make things obvious, and they hide related interface things in different places. RuneScape 3 has lodestones, so I went to go pick up a couple lodestones, one above Falador and one above Varrock, because you start in Berthorpe for some reason, and I wanted to get to Lumbridge. I stopped by the Grand Exchange while I was there because we had a bunch of crap to sell. Had to do the tutorial because for some reason you got to be taught how to use auction houses in games instead of just letting the player use it. Yes, I'm going to complain a lot. If you're new to this channel, that's what I do. I complain. Welcome. So we go here, we sell our stuff, and we actually end up with a decent chunk of starting cash. Enough to buy some items. Specifically, magic gear. We finally make it to Lumbridge and we start killing a bunch of chickens. Remember how I mentioned that raw meat, for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, I mentioned player-owned farms. I'm just vamping. That's basically what this is. But I mentioned that raw meat is expensive. Well, if you notice, all this stuff is worth 18k. It's quite valuable, if you ask me. Much like Colonel Sanders, the value I put on a chicken's life was woefully smaller than the value I put on its body. So after killing about a dozen of those chickens, I moved on to the Blood Pact. It's a short little quest in the Lumbridge Catacombs. It's a very easy quest. It's like one of those introductory quests, sort of a, it's like a story. Let's go fight some Zamorakian cultists or whatever. We go there with Xenia, and we basically just go through this dungeon sort of a thing and kill all three of the cultists. One of them uses ranged, one of them uses magic, one of them uses melee, and you get a weapon from each one. You get a charge bow, a staff, and a pair of swords. The staff is actually better than the air staff I have. Its accuracy is slightly better, so we'll be using that one after this quest, at least for the time being. We finish the quest emerging triumphantly from the catacombs, and now I have to make a very explicit point here. In RuneScape 3, there's this little thing called Treasure Hunter keys. I don't much care for Treasure Hunter in this game. Frankly, I think microtransactions are a huge problem in the entire game industry. That said, every quest in this game gives 2 keys. You don't have to pay for them, you just get them. I'm not going to buy any keys. I don't believe in it. I think it ruins the enjoyment of the game. For me, specifically. But they add these keys because that's just the way the game is designed, and that's how it works, and whatever. These are the keys you would naturally get while playing the game. So if you weren't spending any money on the game, besides membership fees, these would be keys you could get. So I will use these ones. And now, technically, there's really no way for me to prove that I don't buy the keys. You'll just have to take my word on it. I'm a stubborn bastard, so I'm not going to lie to you about it. But frankly, there's no way for you to know if I buy them or not. I'm not going to. If you don't believe me, then you're just going to have to deal with that. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do to prove it. It's either this or make an Iron Man. And I don't want to make another Iron Man. Iron Man is fun the first time. Okay? So we move on to Cook's Assistant, the quintessential RuneScape quest. We get milk, we get an egg, and then we get our extra fine flour. Quest is a little bit different than what you might have expected in old school, but it's the same idea. You get a few ingredients and you help the cook make a cake. We then head to Remington to do Once Upon a Slime. It's a short quest. You basically start in Port Sarim and you help this guy set up a date, I think, between these two slimes. I think that's the idea of the quest, I believe. It's a recent quest. So you set up the date by going to Varrock, getting a top hat, a giant top hat, for the slime to make him look fancy. The problem is, the giant top hat is too big. It needs to be a tiny giant top hat. So then you have to get the top hat shrunk, so the giant top hat is now a small giant top hat. And then you put it on the crown, or you put it on the slime, and then they, I guess, tessellate into one giant slime? The beauty of this quest is that it has basically no requirements, but gives you a 2500 XP lamp in cooking. I don't know why they decided to give this much XP in cooking for this quest, but hey, do it before we start training cooking in other ways, and, you know, it's good. I also stopped by the Grand Exchange to sell all those dead chickens, and I got myself over 100k. Fantastic. I'll continue making other videos as well. My Pokemon videos, my Oblivion videos. I'm just trying to keep things fresh, keep things different, keep things interesting for me. So thank you for watching. Take care.